Good morning, Mr. President. Adibun Adiola Akibo for the transcript. I go ahead.
Yeah, I said you can open the meeting and share the basically. Okay, let me just welcome everyone to this meeting, and quickly would like to let our members know that we are excited to have you in this first webinar of 2021, and it's been a great time having to work with members of our team to actually come forward with this webinar. But before the start of this webinar, we've actually had an advocacy program which started since yesterday, the main day for the Safer Internet program. And part of the advocacy program is that you cannot take, if Mohammed does not go to the mountain, yeah, one way or the other, you know what I'm saying, you have to take Mohammed to the mountain, one way or the other, and just try to pass the same information of safer internet that we are trying to get across. But that being said, the whole idea of what I'm trying to emphasize is that yesterday, the Nigerian chapter of the Internet Society went around several schools, and they were able to share the thoughts and information about how best we can make the internet safe for everyone. And one of those things that they did was not just to teach them about internet safety, but they also took into cognizance the safety of the peoples which they are going to be sharing those thoughts with, by making sure that everyone was socially distant and everyone was using their face mask. I'm pretty sure during the report session that the Secretary General will be presenting, you will see what that actually looks like. However, um, this event is one to, first of all, share the report of what was done yesterday at the advocacy level, and secondly, to also have a quick panel session where we have some of our industry friends and partners who are part of this call, where they will share some of their line of thoughts with us as to what internet safety really is, or what it means to them, and what it means specifically to the younger children, which is basically the focus of some of the things we are trying to do. We tried, like I said, we went to secondary schools yesterday, and we were able to teach some of them basics of internet safety, because some of them are young minds. They do not, they are just getting their first introduction into what the internet really is all about at probably at the age of 13, which is the required age for people to even have a social media account. So on that note, I'd like to welcome everyone once again to this call, and to also give our Secretary General, or if the Vice President who is currently coordinating the SID program is available, to give one or two speech, while Akimbo should prepare to quickly share the report. And after then, we will go to the panel session. Sharing the report means that folks who were hub managers in different locations should prepare to actually share their experiences with the entire ISOC membership, so that we can know what was done at your hub. Thank you very much. Vice President, could you just chip in one or two words, and then the Secretary? Thank you. So it seems Engineer Olorundare is not, I'm not sure if he's online. So Akimbo, could you quickly share the report? Akimbo, we are still waiting for you. You are sharing your screen, but it's not reflecting. Akimbo, we can't see your screen. If someone else is available, Abuja Hub, can you please share your screen so that we can get to hear what happened at your own end? Oh, okay. Welcome, Akimbo. Thank you. Finally.
Okay, Mr. President, can you hear me? Confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Please move on.
Okay, so sorry. I was having a technical glitch here, and I'll try my best to keep it as simple as possible. So we were in 8 states yesterday, and all our representatives, fortunately, should be online at the webinar to, give their own report. But this is a quick one. We're in Northwest, Northeast, North Central, Southwest, Southeast, and South-South. Our schedule approved by the executive was tailored towards addressing a lot of issues and at the same time keeping it simple for the young ones and discoverable for those who are professionals. We're able to touch teachers, students, and professionals. Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I'm sharing pictures from various states with you. We're able to take them to through critical thinking video, which engage the youth and the teachers, including the professionals, to be able to understand all about safer internet. We had a breakdowns of sessions where students were told what to do, how to do it, what was going on online. Again, I'm sharing pictures from different states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then we wrapped it up with a group work for most of the students and the teachers. We have documents to show you questions that were raised concerning fake information, how to know what imposter is, and how to get used to a lot of the internet jargons that we normally use from day to day at the students level and also at the professional level. Finally, we're able to touch 376 professionals, teachers, and students. And it's a big thank you to all the team who worked. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Thank you very much, Akimbo. Do we have the folks from Abuja to quickly present their report? Exactly how it went. You have about a minute each, everyone.
Okay.
Akimbo, unshare your screen so that someone else can share. Thank you. Yes, folks in Abuja, could you please share your screen, or do I share your report and you speak to it?
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Our protocol duly observed. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Engineer Kunle Olorundare. I am the Vice President of Internet Society Nigerian chapter, and I worked with the Secretary, Nwe Obuja, in Abuja. And during the session, we had, representatives from Secondaries Education Board from Abuja City here, And of course, we were also excited to have the principal of the school together with the vice principal academics in our midst during the program. And as a matter of fact, the students were so excited about the program. And as you can see on the screen now, this is, the picture of the attendance during the event. You can see the students, you can see the principal, you can see the ISOC representatives, together with our collaborators, that is Nigerian Communications Commission, who did very well because they too, they had a session, and I'll be giving a brief on that. Now, the focus of the facilitators was this. You can see what I put on the screen. That is the focus objectives of the facilitators from both the Internet Society and the collaborating agency, that is Nigerian Communications Commission, were to create awareness on the annual celebration of Safer Internet Day in the month of February, to let pupils and young ones understand the need to think twice before sharing any information using critical thinking methodology, and of course, to let the pupils understand the danger in propagating fake news. And of course, we also asked the student about the expectation, and to summarize everything, the expectation of the students were given as, okay, they want to know about cyberbullying and how to prevent it. And of course, they want to know about the Safer Internet Day celebration. And overall, all of them agree to the fact that they will really want to know how to be safe online. Now, we also try to find out about the knowledge of the students and of course that of the teachers that were present during the event yesterday. The students made us understand that, of course, they knew about the internet technology before this program, and at the same time, they've been using the internet. And on the screen, you can see the student expectation and that of the teacher, so to say. And during the session, we tried to interview the students, to know what they have learned. And some of the students agreed to the fact that they have learned so much. A student by name Amedu Ada Joyce from SS2B, that's the same school, said, I learned to be mindful of what you post on social media. Then another student by name Fortune Oyekachi from the same class, SS2B, about, that she needs to be careful of what she posts on social media. And another student by name Abdullah Fatima told us that she learned about SID, Africa Safer Internet Day, and for the first time, she made it known to us that she heard about ITU, that is International Telecommunication Union. And another student by name Usman Salamatu from SS2D told us that she learned about cyberbullying for the first time and African Safer Internet Day. And to the left-hand side, you can see one of the students during the session asking question of what actually happened at the event. You can see the observation of COVID protocol, even in handshaking. And we try as much as possible to adhere strictly to COVID protocol from the beginning to the end of the program. Here are some of the pictures of what happened. And you can also see Mr. Amzat, the event. with his presentation titled Cyberbullying. It was a very good one, and I think everybody was excited about that. And here are some other pictures. We also ensure we're refreshed during the event. I have to say that because, you know, sometimes when you're talking to people and it's taking a very long time, you need to ensure that they relax. And one of the ways of doing that is to, you know, create what is popularly known in, you know, in quote and unquote as item number 7. And you can see my colleague Chinwe Oguja doing a very good job there. And even on the right-hand side too, that is below, Chinwe also made a presentation on fake news, and she did a very good job. And top right-hand side, you can see the picture of the ISOC representative and that of the Secondary School Education Board from Abuja. Without wasting time, because I know that I have to leave the floor for other, you know, hub rep to make their presentation. Thank you, Mr. President, for this rare privilege. I submit.
Thank you very much, our Honorable Vice President. That was actually a very brilliant report from your op. And since you mentioned item 7, are you going to provide item 7 for those who are actually participating in this webinar virtually? Because we need to put, I don't know how you want to do that. But anyway, that's on a lighter note. So we would want to ask if Biliamino is ready with his report. Please, you have only 1 minute. The Vice President used his executive privilege to extend it beyond 1, and we don't want to do that, although you have membership privilege too. So before I forget, let me quickly just mention that for us to be able to cover the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, thanks to all our members and volunteers. And we also see it as a way of building leadership amongst our members by having this volunteer spirit. Thanks to some of our members, which you'll probably be hearing their names now. Some of them are not on the executive team, but they are our members in ISOC when we put out the call, and they gracefully accepted that they would help us facilitate in that location. That is the beauty of internet, when we can reach some of our members who are spread across different places. So for Biliamino, making you participants can share their screen now. For those of you who will be presenting who are members, please, I don't need to make you co-host, just share your screen right now, you have the privilege. So we thank, while that is going on, we thank our members in the person of Biliamino Umar, Utafia Ubing, and our honorable immediate past Vice President who helped us coordinate both the Sokoto and Akwa Ibom axis of this Safer Internet Day. It is one of our hope that for next year, hoping that COVID is going to be over and we have bigger budgets, we will be able to do the 36 states whereby we will educate more of our younger ones to know the importance of the internet and how to be safe on it. So is Biliamino ready, or Hamed Sani Kazari? Sorry, I forgot to mention you. Yeah. Can you share your screen with your report?
So I'm not with my system because I am in my place of work.
Okay. You don't have your pictures, because we saw your pictures yesterday, so we were thinking.
Yeah, I sent it to the email you asked me to send to expo@isoc.ng.
Okay, please continue. We'll fish it out and continue your report.
All right, no problem. Yes, I have sent my report. And
yes.
First of all, I would like to thank the executives for giving me this privilege to be one of the group coordinators for Safer Internet Day 2021. At the end of the program, students were able to learn new words on the internet, and they are able to know what is ISOC, the mission and the vision of ISOC, and they were able to learn the negative and positive things on the internet, and they were able to learn how to protect themselves and they are able to protect themselves online, how to keep them, how to be safe online. And also at the end of the program, teachers were able to update their knowledge on the negative and positive impacts of the internet. And they are able to update their knowledge on positive and negative impacts of the internet. That's all. Thank you so much for this.
Observation, Mr. President.
This is this is your report, right, Biliaminu? Can you see my screen,
Yes,
please?
sir.
Yes. So
yes,
just to show some of our members the pictorial view of what transpired in yours was in Sokoto, right?
It's in Sokoto.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much. I recognize the Vice President who has something to say.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I think I want to say that we should try as much as possible not to, activate our video. Why I'm saying that is because this is busy hour and the traffic is always very high about this time, and that may affect the quality of, what we are doing. So maybe if we can just share the PowerPoint slides and, talk behind the screen, I think that would help us in a way to maintain a very good quality. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much for the observation. So members, please, let's note that. So we will only take one more report. And that report, I don't know who is ready. Akimba, have you given your report? Yes, you have. And Abuja. So I would like us to move quickly to the panel session. I want us to move quickly to the panel session so that we can maximize our time. So please welcome with me our panelists that are going to be joining us on this conversation that we are having today. First is Emmanuel Edet. Emmanuel Edet, please, could you kindly just introduce yourself in 30 seconds?
Okay. Thank you very much, Caleb. And just for the purpose of introduction, I've activated my video. My name is Emmanuel Edet. I work for the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. I've been around the IT circles for more than 10 years now. I'm also part of the Nigeria Internet Governance Forum. I have done a few things in the domain name areas, and I'm just here to share a little bit of my knowledge and also learn from you regarding safer internet, especially for our children in this era of online presence for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Edet. Thank you for joining us. And next on the panel is the only female, which before I introduce her, I need to first of all apologize to all our female counterparts that we could not get one more female to balance the equation on this panel, but please forgive me in arrears and in advance and in between, so that when you are throwing up your feedback, I don't get slaughtered for doing that. But please welcome with me Chidinma Chidima works with PPDC. Chidima, please introduce yourself in 30 seconds. Thank you. You can activate your video.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Caleb. My name, and thank you to the entire ISOC team members. Thank you for having me here. My name is Chidima. I work with the Public and Private Development Center for the Digital Inclusion and Safer Internet departments. Maybe during the conversation, I'll say more of the things that we do. And also to add that we also participated yesterday for the celebration of the Safer Internet Day. Thank you.
Thank you. So next on our panel session is we are having Mr. YZ, who is joining from Kano. Please introduce yourself in 30 seconds if that is possible. Thank you. Okay, seem not to be online. So I would quickly want to just also welcome the NERA representative, my very good friend. So please, you have 30 minutes. Could you kindly introduce yourself? Ikechukwu.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ikechukwu Ezeji. I work with the Nigeria Internet Registration Association, NERA. I'm glad to be in this meeting. As time goes on, we would share more ideas and resources together on how to make the internet safer for everyone. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'd like to start first with Edith. So perhaps you might be setting the tone on this one. I know you are doubling as the representative of the Nigerian Internet Governance Forum, and also by your work affiliation as working in NITDA. So I'd like to quickly just to hear your thought on what exactly is NITDA, or specifically the government that you have observed that they've been working on, specifically when it comes to issue around child online privacy. Like you all know, the future of our children starts now when we start preparing for it. And we need to start having policies and legislations that that fit and match those requirements that can protect our children, not just offline when they're in school, but also when they are online. So would you care to share some of those thoughts?
Okay, thank you very much, Caleb. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay. The whole point of child online protection is to ensure that underage persons are not exposed to the dangers of the internet. First of all, we have to understand that the internet is really not a bad place. It's just a place where bad people exist, just like in our offline environment. Child predators are here offline. And so because the internet is a media that is neutral, they have also moved on to the internet, and hence the need to protect the children when using the internet, because whether we like it or not, the children will always use the internet. And this has even made it more apparent because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which made a lot of schools to adopt online learning for children because of the restrictions on physical interaction. So as regulators, NCC, NIDA, and every other person responsible for protecting the citizens of Nigeria, there has been a drive to create policies and guidelines to ensure that private companies that actually offer services that has to do with internet access, put in place the necessary protection. So you have companies who actually provide e-learning services to also ensure that access is restricted as far as children are concerned to content that only relates to what they are learning. Um, Beyond this regulation, which is the primary responsibility of these agencies, there's also the issue of developing programs and creating awareness, even going to the extent of partnership, which I'm sure we'll discuss later. Because you may do or you may create as many laws and regulations as you want, but it may not actually achieve the aim of creating a safer internet for the children. And so beyond these regulations, there's a need for awareness. We all know that cybersecurity awareness is one thing that we have been trying as much as possible to push forward. So the parents, the teachers, the law enforcement officers, the private sector operators, the non-governmental organizations should be aware of what is expected of them in order to ensure that the children are protected. And then beyond this awareness, there's also the need to create partnership. So the regulators are not only doing what is expected of them, they are going beyond what is expected of them. I know the NCC has collaborated a lot with the ITU to develop safer internet environments for the children. So I initially, right, my take is that regulators have actually done a lot in terms of creating regulations to protect your data. If you check out the Nigerian data protection regulations, there are special um, what should we call it, special provisions on how to handle the data of a child. And then, of course, the new Data Protection Act also provides special protection for children's data. The same thing too with the Child's Right Act, which also protects the data of young persons. So, but beyond that, there's also the need, because it's not only the responsibility of the regulators, it's also the responsibility of the parents, it's also the responsibility of the teachers, it's also the responsibility of those in what you call locus parentis to create a safe environment for the children. And so beyond this regulation, there's awareness programs. We are also going through a lot of partnership to ensure that the message is out there. Watch what your child is doing online. You buy them tablets, you allow them access to your phones. And these days that we have smart TVs that can browse the internet, the exposure has increased so much. And so there's a need of not only creating these laws and policies and guidelines, but also ensuring that we are aware of the environment where we find ourselves, and also ensure that whatever the children are doing online, we have access to it and actually monitor it, just the way we protect them from adverse environments in the offline. We should also protect them from adverse environments online. So that's what we are doing as regulators. And as the NIGF, I'm sure we do a lot of youth programs during our annual NIGF meetings and every other opportunity like this one, where we come and we try to explain what is needed in order to ensure that we have safer internet in Nigeria and indeed around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Edith. You've shared some clear line of thoughts that perhaps later on during the session we will expand on. But just before you go, probably in like a minute or so, I'd like to just ask you this very quick question. Do you think social media is actually a good thing for young kids, specifically when it collects lots of data on them, and when they are exposed to it at a very young age, given the expected regulations that Facebook, take for example, Facebook and Instagram as that for you to be able to sign up, you must be at least 13 years of age.
Okay, thank you, Caleb. That's a very interesting question because at the end of the day, you ask yourself, in an offline environment, would you allow your kids mingle with adults whenever they're having discussion? I think the straight answer is no. There's no problem if you can have a social media platform strictly for children, even though I know some adults will want to sneak in and do one of those their nefarious activities. But across board, almost all service providers regulate those who actually use their systems. In fact, service providers like Amazon, Google, provide things like family link to make sure that even if you allow your kids to go online, you should have a handle on what they are actually doing online. So in a straightforward answer, I would say it is not safe for a child to use social media where you have adults who are predominantly the users of that particular social media. It creates an environment that is strictly unsafe for the child. Not only does the child not know how to behave in such an environment, the child is not aware of the dangers and the pitfalls that are available in that kind of environment. So until the child can understand what are the challenges, what are the pitfalls, what are the dangers, and can handle his or herself, which is almost literally impossible, I would never advise for children to be given the opportunity to use social media where adults are the predominant users. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be moving over to Chidinma right now, but I'd like to call your attention to that's Edith. I'd like to call your attention to the fact that you have a question that is probably hanging on for you to attend to in the chat room. So perhaps during the rebuttal, you will be able to respond to it. So Chidinma, one quick question for you. Why does it seem like it's more important for government to clamp down on social media and the internet as opposed to investing and committing to more like digital literacy? We've seen some of these things happen in a lot of African countries. We do feel that government should be able to, rather than clamping down on social media, specifically during elections, that there should rather be some form of digital literacy on safe use of internet and responsible use of that same internet. We know that people only abuse what they have no knowledge of, and it goes both ways. So we have both people in a position to make policies that are not even well informed about workings of the digital age. So what are your thoughts, or what do you make of it?
Okay, thank you very much, Caleb, for that question. So I think from the government's view, they are clamping it down to avoid war, in my own opinion, or violence, in my own opinion. But the bigger issue or the bigger problem here is the fact that the internet, especially amid COVID, when COVID came last year, has made it possible that no matter where you are, you have access to the internet. Just imagine there's COVID and there's no internet, and you're locked up in the house with no access to information, nothing. So I always come from the angle of, rather than clamping down, or rather than shutting it down, why can't you put down policies that are realistic? So for instance, from my organization, we focus more on children. And when we started, but then we realized, I like what the last speaker said about being responsible, that online safety is a responsibility of everyone, the government, the policymakers, the teachers, school owners, parents, even the users, the young internet users, is the responsibility of everyone. So rather than clamping down and shutting down the internet, why can't we introduce and empower these young internet users, the teachers, the children rather, on how they can use the internet safely. I know yesterday was online Safer Internet Day. We celebrated Safer Internet Day. We taught them about online safety, but it shouldn't end there. Online safety knowledge should be a continual knowledge, building of knowledge, because every day we practically live online. Everything we do is on the internet. In 2019, a curriculum was developed, online safety curriculum was developed. But since then, and it was approved by the National Council on Education for its use across school in Nigeria, online safety courses, for it to be used in Nigeria. But the document is now looking at like one of those policy documents that was developed and never implemented. We're in a digital era, and knowledge begets power. If we are able to grant these young internet users access to digital safety knowledge while they are in school, then they will possess that power to overcome predators, to overcome cyberbullies, to overcome many of the ill and inappropriate content that is on the internet, and channel their mindset, channel them to assess the benefits that the internet offers, because there are numerous benefits out there on the internet. But the bad guys have made the internet look as if there's only bad things. For instance, social media, there's only bad thing on social media. Of course, there are also, it boils down to the responsibility of the parents that yes, rather than restricting my child, rather than stopping them from access, because the truth is that whether you restrict them, they have friends, they mingle with their friends. And their friends, they also have devices that they can access the internet with. So it's not about restricting them. It's about empowering them. It's about putting in place those softwares, like the last speaker mentioned, Family Link, Google Family Link. It's a powerful tool that wherever you are as a parent, you are still in charge of the kind of content that your kids access on the internet, the kinds of friends they accept, the kinds of apps they download, the kind of content that they're interacting with. You are still in charge. So it's not about just buying a gadget for a kid and just allowing them to just buying it for show or for whatever reason it is. It's about putting in place the necessary safety tools that they need in order not to fall victim of the ill and inappropriate contents that are out there on the internet. So I totally say no to clamping down of internet. I totally say no to it. Rather than doing that, there are many other aspects, there are many other ways to empower these young internet users. Let's use their school. They spend most of their hours at school. So while they are learning other subjects, this online safety curriculum has been infused. So why can't school just start teaching the online safety curriculum, empower them, so that even while they are at home, parents also shouldn't be left out. During PTA time, schools should create a moment where they also empower and educate parents on how they can support and help out their kids while they use the internet. Because the truth at the end of the day is all our responsibility. We have to come together and stand together and make the internet a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chidima. So let me quickly follow up with one question. I've checked out what PPDC is doing specifically on their digital inclusion and literacy program, and that's one of the reasons why we invited PPDC to be part of this webinar. I understand that some of the few things you guys are doing is you're working with the Ministry of Education. So I like the fact that we don't just talk the talk, we try to walk the talk. You understand? Yeah. We want to, some of the things I read about the organization is that you guys are doing some form of curriculum, perhaps inclusion for kids, whereby we can, same way we have people clamoring that we should have history come back to our Nigerian educational system. You guys are also working with the Ministry of Education, if I'm right, to see that this thing. Can you please share what are some of the challenges you guys have faced, and perhaps some of the places you've been able to cover, and what are the projections you have to see that we have internet infused into curriculum for our kids especially in Nigeria, especially when it comes to issue of safety?
Thank you very much, Caleb. So, like I had mentioned earlier, we collaborated with the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council. They are the agency in charge of curriculum development in Nigeria. So with support from Google, we worked with them to develop an online safety courses to be infused into the national curriculum. Last 2019, that was completed. The curriculum was developed and the infusion was done. And it was presented to the National Council on Education during the 64th the 64th NCE meeting that held in Port Harcourt. It was presented and that was approved. And the approval came from the from them, and also, of course, Federal Ministry of Education was there, the Commissioner of Education, some of the commissioners of education, they were also there. But the aim here is to see that schools across states, government unity schools, public schools, private schools, that they are able to teach online safety curriculum in their respective schools. We even went further to develop teachers' guide to make it easier for teachers to be able to deliver these courses in school. And I would also like to point out that the online safety curriculum is not a standalone curriculum, because we hear complaints from schools that we are overburdening the students with so many curriculum, with so many subjects. So it's not a standalone curriculum. Rather, what we did was to infuse it into basic science and technology. We infused it into civic education and also computer studies. So in this way, every Nigerian child, no matter your grade, you will have access to digital safety knowledge. We infused it. This is already a regular and is a career subject. So it's a compulsory subject except computer studies that is optional. But basic science and tech and civic education, these two subjects are career subjects, they are compulsory. And online safety courses was infused into the subject for them to have access to it. Now, talking about the challenge here is that the document is ready, it was approved, and anybody can gain access to that document. We went ahead last year, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, to train some of the teachers in Ekiti, Anambra State, Plateau, and also I remember and Abia State, yes. We trained teachers in the states. We built their capacity. We trained them on how they can, first of all, they need to understand the content of the online safety. So that was the whole aim, for them to understand, to be able to deliver and teach the students in school. So that was what the training and was all about. Now we're done with the training, but up till now, these states are still not able to teach these courses in their schools. So those are the challenges that you do. There's so much we NGOs can do. That's why we have done our part by developing this curriculum, but we don't want it to be a waste. We need to see government, we need to see the policymakers enforce schools, make it mandatory for schools to start teaching the subjects, to start using it across schools in Nigeria. So the challenges here, the challenge that we are facing is inability of schools to actually utilize this curriculum. We went further to even make mass production of this curriculum so that we can fully distribute it to states, which we've done to a couple of states, but getting them to start teaching is where the biggest challenge is for us at the moment. Thank you.
Very, 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 very interesting thoughts and views around some of those issues that you've raised. But one thing I can give you one very good assurance of is we are all partners in progress, and I'm pretty sure that a couple of government folks are on this call, and they're also listening into some of these conversations that we are having. There is so much that we NGOs can do. That was a very key word that I picked out. I'm talking about civil society organizations, even such as ISOC. But I would quickly want to just jump to our NERA rep that is on the call with us. And I just have very, very few questions for him because they play a very important role, specifically for our .ng domain. But there are so many people here that are probably just new to what NERA is all about. They don't even know what NERA does, and they don't have a clear understanding of the full meaning of NERA in code. And I'd like to just ask just two questions, straightforward, where you can mix it up. So what exactly is NERA? What do they represent? What do they do? And how is NERA contributing to the safety of internet, specifically when it comes to Nigerians? So
thank you, Caleb.
Yes,
thank you, Caleb, for that question. Okay, I'll first of all start with NERA. NERA is the Nigeria Internet Registration Association, and it is a stakeholder-led organization charged with the management of Nigeria's country code top-level domain name, which we all know as .ng. .ng is a national resource, and the responsibility to manage it was delegated by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, to NERA. .ng is Nigerians' online identity. NERA operates a three-arm model, otherwise known as registry, registrar, and registrant model. The implication of this is that NERA does not handle the registration of .ng domain names directly for registrants. Registrations can only be done through NERA certified registrars. So NERA as a registry manages the database and is in the forefront of policy development. The accredited registrar, on the other hand, is involved in registration, renewal, and transfer of .ng domain names, while the registrant is the person or organization that registers a .ng domain name. So that's a brief about who we are, NERA.
So I had a follow-up question, which I then asked, how does NERA contribute to the safety of internet, specifically for us as Nigerians? You mentioned something about our identity. I wouldn't know if that's part of what NERA does. You understand? Perhaps you might want to share some light as to how NERA contributes to the safety of every end user, business owner, every child as well, how they contribute to it. Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, so NERA contributes to the safety of the internet by ensuring, first of all, that we have a world-class infrastructure that is stable and available at all times. We also use a world-class registry application that ensures the security and safety of all .ng domain names. I mean, NERA is a policy-driven organization ensuring policies are world-class standard and in tune with current realities. And that is why only NERA accredited registrars can connect to NERA for domain registration. This ensures safety for all.
Okay.
We also collaborate with other organizations to educate and raise awareness of the public on safety on the internet. For example, we collaborate with NITDA, NCC, ISOC, NIGF, ICANN, etc.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's quickly bring this home. What you've mentioned earlier on has given us more like a clear overview of what we need to know. But I want to play a little bit of the devil's advocate here. Assuming I'm a child right now, and or rather, assuming I'm a parent, and I've given my child lots of access to the internet, and my child says, oh, he wants a domain name in the Nigerian identity. Is there like an age restriction, just like the way we have age restriction for Facebook, other social media, that says that you cannot register a social media account until you are the age of 13? What I just need is perhaps maybe a yes or no kind of scenario question as answer here, where we then say that as a child, how old must I be to approach like a registrar? Or maybe, I don't know, am I supposed to approach NERA? I don't know. I'm just asking, just general question. Perhaps this is a form of education for me and for others that are participating in this webinar, that how old must I be to own a domain name that I can then know that I am in a way protected as a child?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Specifically, to own a domain name, you need to be an adult. And in the Nigerian sense, an adult is someone who is 18 years and above. So if you want to get a domain name, what you need to do is to go to www.register.ng. When you go there, you select an accredited registrar who will help you in the process of getting a .ng domain name, because for we NERA, we don't sell .ng domain names directly to registrants. It's the duty of our accredited registrars to sell these domain names to the registrants. Thank you.
Okay, so what I understand from what you said now is that the registrars are the ones who do more like the due diligence to know that some of the regulations that you guys have put down, that you must be at least an adult. So it's the job of the registrars, right, to help to see how we are protected, how we protect our kids online. Is that a summary of something you're saying?
Okay, so NERA, we have an agreement with the registrars. We have what we call the registrar agreements, and we also have what we call the registrant agreement. So the registrant agreement is an agreement where the registrants sign with the registrar. So we have the registrar who sells the domain name to the registrant, and the registrant who actually registers the domain name. So there is a kind of an agreement between the registrar and the registrant when getting a .ng domain name. And in that agreement, it's outlined what is expected of both the registrar and the registrant as regards the .ng domain name.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate this clear insight as to some of the things that you've been able to share. Now I know better. Now I know that I must, assuming I'm a child, I must be 18 years of age before I actually own a domain, from some of the clear thought of things that you explained to us. So let's quickly get over to our audience so that we can quickly wrap up this session, as we are at the top of the hour. We recognize Dr. Weriwe is online, and we will first of all give Dr. Weriwe the floor to perhaps give some of his thoughts. And then if you have any question, contribution within 1 minute each, please use the hand raising button to quickly signify, and we will recognize you. Thank you. Dr. Weriwe, over to you. You care to share with us some of the things NIDA is doing at the cybersecurity angle that you work with, and perhaps are there some statistics or things that reveals how dangerous it is for some of our kids to be online that we need to be aware of?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay then.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
No, sir.
I want to specifically thank ISOC NG for this program. It is more like an extension of the NIDA mandates. You know, we can't do it all alone. And this level of coverage that you've achieved this far is really commendable. And I need to thank all the contributors, your zonal representatives, and everyone who's contributed in one way or the other to this program. Talking about the panelists and their presentations, I think the program is quite apt at this time because a lot of activities have actually gone online, occasioned by the pandemic, and our present disposition to explore and exploit all available opportunities for us to grow our digital economy as well as our individual economies. We have resorted to using the efficient technologies provided by the internet. And we all do know that the internet also comes with its own negative aspects. And this program is meant for us to be cautious and to learn what we should do while online in order that we don't fall victims to the vices of the negative ones. And the presentations this far have been quite okay. Mr. Imar talked about the child online protection issues, the laws available, how effectively we are using that. It's a little bit of a challenge as it were now. And then the NERA presentation also was quite apt and good. I have a few issues with the overall setting of this program. The issues are that I looked at the presentations from the Zooms, and the coverage it was able to achieve. But the problem I have with it is that it's more or less like a physical approach to it instead of spreading it wider for almost everyone to have a feel of what we're doing. So if the online spreads were done better, I think it would have been a better platform for almost virtually everyone who has the link to be able to join and benefit from this very important ISOC presentation and day. So we'll look out for other participants who have specific questions that they could ask. Then we'll answer them as we go on. So on that note, I'll say thank you very much. But I'm still expecting that after all this, we'll be able to talk more on the topic presented to us, which is about the internet as a social good and governance issues. So we'll talk about that later. But for now, I want to commend all that have participated and contributed and also listened to this program as it has gone on. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much, sir. Just a quick follow-up so that we can maximize the time since you are still on the floor. We would like you to speak to the topic that was given to NIDA on that specific topic, Internet for Social Good and Governance. We know you'll be speaking from the perspective of the regulator. We also have one of our regulators who has spoken, that is Emmanuel, but is currently wearing the cap of the Nigerian Internet Governance Forum. So we recognize that part as well. But since you are speaking from the angle of NIDA, we'd like to hear your views as to what is and what is not that.
X, Y, Z.
Sorry, can we mute Yes, would like to know what is and what is not to some of the issues that are surrounding the governance
The
of
safer internet. Okay.
yes, safer internet, and issues that revolves around what government, the role government is playing at a wider scale. We've had one of the speakers talk about curriculum development. Can we see folks like NIDA take up this challenge after this meeting? Because one of the reasons why we have this kind of conversations is to see that there is a tangible outcome that is extracted from at least some of our government participants, to see how they can take up some of these challenges that some of the civil society organizations are trying to run, but then the government has the state power as a state actor to play that bigger role and have it as a bigger picture. So over to you, Dr. Wewe.
Okay, thank you very much. Since I now have the floor to really talk a little bit on these issues, I will continue with it. As we all know, the internet and its associated technologies have really positioned us in various ways to effectively conduct our businesses online, and other services that are rendered from the angle of the industry, all working together to make sure that the most benefits are derived from our exploiting the facilities of the internet. We all know that the internet is a multi-trillion naira business, global business. In it, there are so many services rendered by many organizations and people who share from that. And with concerted efforts, companies have been able to make so much money out of the internet, as well as individuals are also benefiting from leisure, and all sorts of benefits are arising from using the internet and its associated technologies. Now, the challenge about this is that aside of the positive aspect of it, the negative aspect is also very predominant. And lately, the pandemic has actually forced, in quotes, so to speak, most of us to conduct businesses online. And prior to the pandemic, for instance, before one can have access to his company's infrastructure, if you are not around, that is working from remote locations, there used to be very special configurations and access permissions, security permissions that are granted those people for them to access their company infrastructure. But with the pandemic, those detailed procedures are most likely not followed, because it's kind of very quickly you want to get things done and all that. So with that, a good number of vulnerabilities have been exposed through devices, through networks, and through infrastructure that are not properly cut out for this. So these have all exposed most of us and most of users of the internet to the vices of the criminal elements. Now, when we talk about governance of the internet, on the part of the regulator, what we are out there to do is to make sure that we harness all the benefits, the positivity or the positive aspect of using the internet is what we want to harness to grow our economy and to benefit us. At the same time, we have the responsibility to make sure that the negatives are suppressed. So for us to do those two critical aspects are what the regulator should do. Now, the internet as a public good is a little bit neither here nor there. because the proper definition of a public good is that those goods are usually provided by the government through its regular service delivery procedures. Most times it's not supposed to be charged and all that, free provisions. Now, the internet is not strictly like that because it's a big business in itself. We have grown multinationals who benefited from doing business with the internet, providing services, providing infrastructure, all sorts of businesses go on in the internet. So on that note, we may not very certainly say the internet is a public good, but we'll look at the security of it. And that's the area the regulator should play a critical role. Now, we need to make sure that the criminal elements are identified and they are brought to book. And we also need to ensure that the positivities are exploited and explored to its maximum. So earlier speakers have spoken about the access to obscene content and access to obnoxious content on the internet. Now, the focus is on the youth. And the youth, as some of our earlier panelists have said, some have been introduced to this for the first time. They don't know the rules and the regulations guiding the use of the internet. Parents may have bought a device for the child. I want to use it for my school, and on it goes, without protection, without any formal procedure that they should follow to protect themselves. So this kind of the presentation is quite apt. Introduce the ways by which they can protect themselves while online, as well as ensure that they don't fall victims to the vices of the criminals on the internet. So what is NIDA doing in this respect? We know that one of the most important and most effective ways of ensuring that the internet is safe is by awareness and sensitization. Left for technology, a lot can be achieved, and a lot has been achieved using technologies to prevent these things. But the human aspect is critically what is the biggest challenge in all of this. So, and how do we reach out to that human aspect? It's either we train the people and they are sensitized, they know what to do while online, they know what not to do while online. And those are the critical aspects that globally people explore to ensure that the internet is safe for them. Now, NIDA started a few years back in targeting certain strata of society, sensitizing them on how and what to do and what not to do. We've gone around all the zones of this country, propagating that message on how we can stay safe while online. So that's why I'm saying, when I said earlier that this is a furtherance of a part of our mandate, which we've done earlier, I think that points to the fact that what you're doing is quite right. And we also explore that we need to reach further. Whatever collaborations and partnerships we can do to make sure that this reaches out to everyone is actually welcome. And we implore everyone to key into this as we go on. In the area of capacity building, NIDA, we have a set of programs lined out in our rolling plan for the next 4 years, where we intend to build capacity in advanced knowledge on how to be trained enough, a given set of people which we will select to ensure that they have the capacity to defend the country as well as offensive in the case of cyber warfare. And we also have a program to collaborate with existing formal university systems to ensure that the number of degree awarding programs are expanded over this period of time. And we also are looking at how we can look at this issue of curriculum, because curriculum, we need to start from the youth, the kindergarten, to start to introduce cyber safety right from that time and grow them onto the university level. And we all know that this is a very dynamic environment. And as it goes, these things will be reviewed as we go on. So collaborations with the Ministry of Education, NUC, and all those that are required to do that, including the industry, because they know what is required and they know what is expected of whoever that will carry on the internet business. So we'll draw these collaborations from these three angles: public sector, the private sector, even the NGOs, to make sure that contemporary curriculum is provided and changes as things progress. So all those are plans we have set out for cybersecurity capacity building in the country. So I will want to stop here, as if you have questions and further clarifications that I will make because of time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've said it all, and you've shared some of your line of thoughts with some of us, and we really appreciate you having to spare your time, and given that you're a very senior official, I needed to share some of the plans that the government has when it comes to issues like this. Because of our time, we would quickly want to give those who are on the floor the opportunity to perhaps make comments. Please do not exceed 1 minute. Thank you very much. In your bunk, can you please start? I see in your bunk and I see Zubairu.
All right, thank you very much, Caleb, the president, and the entire ESCO for this organization. It's a beautiful thing to be part of it today, and all the participants. But I want to throw a question to the NERA guy. What have you guys put on ground that anybody, the registrars, when they register Nigerian domain, they have some facilities to protect people from using this domain to perpetrate fraud? What do you have on ground? And again, do you have also anything put in place to guide the younger generation below the age of 18 from being defrauded or being bullied or attacked online while using anything that has to do with Nigerian domain? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Would like to take all the questions together. So Zubairu, could you please open your mic up and speak?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, please go ahead.
Okay. So recently, during this pandemic, we were on a project of helping get schools go online. So I don't know from our own end if there's any way we could contribute towards making sure the curriculum is being seen through. Though we have a lot of contact with a lot of schools who we introduce them to start education online now.
Okay, I believe that question is for Chidinma. So Chidinma, would you want to start while Ikechukwu prepares to give his answer?
Yeah, but I didn't get the question. I could barely hear what he was saying. If he can repeat that and be more audible.
Could you please repeat your question?
Okay, I said we are presently on a project of helping schools go online. So I don't know if from our own end there's a way we could contribute maybe teaching the schools on the safety protocol and other things.
Okay, yeah, we can have the conversation after this. We can have that conversation after this.
Okay, so I think it would be good if you post your email contact in the chat room. That will be fine.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that now.
Yes, Ikechukwu, do you have any response to Mr. Eniabong's
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so what I can say as regards .ng domain name is that for you to get a .ng domain name, like I said earlier on, you need to go through the NERA accredited registrar. So the NERA accredited registrar is supposed to ensure that whoever is getting a .ng domain name is an authentic person, someone who is getting the domain name for good purpose and not for fraudulent purpose. So, I mean, we'll get your details, your information and all that. So that peradventure there is an issue in the future, there's a way we can trace that person and possibly even bring down the website. Thank you.
I believe that answers your question, Mr. Eniabong. So is there any last minute question before we move over to wrapping up with the rest of the reports that we have? Priscilla, please prepare. And the Akwa Ibom hub, as well as I think that was Jigawa. Yes, please prepare your report. Can you please share your screen? While that is going on, we want to still encourage anyone who has any question to please post your question via the chat room. And if you are not an ISOC member and you got this link from somewhere, Priscilla, I'm waiting for you to share your screen so you can report. Thank you. So if you're an ISOC member and you are not an ISOC member and you feel that you can still be part of what ISOC is doing, please don't forget to go to isoc.ng and you can subscribe and be a member. We also have our Telegram group where we have a lot of active conversation. I'm pretty sure the secretary will, Akimbo will put the link to our Telegram group up when that time comes. More importantly, we want to challenge everyone, as I'm wrapping up my own session, that come next year, we should walk the talk and you know, we can pick a school that is probably close to our own environment, speak to them and tell them that, oh, yes, I'd like to share some thoughts about the safety of internet for our kids. And so this is a challenge that we are putting to everybody since when we go to social media now, we see this challenge and this challenge and this challenge. This is an ISOC challenge. Pick a school challenge and teach them internet safety. And that summarizes my moment in moderating this session. Is anyone presenting reports? I don't see Priscilla. I don't see the folks from Akwa Ibom presenting that etafia. So if I don't get to see anyone sharing the screen right now, I would believe that we would move over to our vote of thanks. And would want to ask our Vice President to give that vote of thanks.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. Please go ahead.
Yes, there's a report from Akwa Ibom. Hello.
Okay, I think you can have the floor.
Hello.
Yes, please share your screen and please share your screen. Can you share your screen, please? Akwa Ibom, can you share your screen?
Yes, yes.
Please, you can share your screen while you go on to vent your report from the SID event. Thank you very much. Are you ready? Engineer Albon, are you ready? We are waiting for you, please. Okay, maybe we give him 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes. Can
okay.
I actually have
the screen is on now. Okay, is it the report from Akwa Ibom? Is it the report from Akwa Ibom, please?
Yes, this is Caleb sharing the screen. Can you please just give us a summary in 1 minute? Our representative, we are already sharing the screen for you. Thank you. So I see in your bunk also on this call. Could you please step in since Etafia is having some technical issues?
It's okay, Caleb, thank you. What you are seeing there is what happened in ISOC. ISOC moderated and took the SID to one of the biggest secondary school in Akwa Ibom, St. Columbanus Secondary School. And the picture you see there happens to be the hub coordinator in Akwa Ibom, Obonetefia, engineer, and a participant there with staff of the school. And then you see staff and the students, and then the laboratory that was presented. The video that was given by ISOC was shared. That is presentation going on by different presenters. You had Engineer Tefia who presented, Mr. Tapan who presented, and Engineer Otobong Onwoodley who presented. Those are the screens you see there. I think myself there, at least I had to, as a former VP of ISOC, to also give a boost to the program yesterday. The school had been so excited, and in fact, I would tell you that the students had to give some challenges through their questions to ISOC, and were so excited to realize that they could defend themselves on any threat, protect themselves on any threat they face online. But there was a request the school made that, in fact, it's something I'll throw to you, that they should be considered annually for the hosting of the event. And they'll be very glad to give their school open for this kind of event, which will be able to boost or equip the children.
Thank you very much. You've shared some very interesting thoughts there. So we've taken note.
So,
yes,
so that is the report I can give so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are very excited that you were able to pull this off at such a short notice. Thank you very much. But before I go and yield the floor to our vice presidents and my other team members, I'd like to ask if Priscilla is still available to do our screen sharing right now for our own report, and the fellow from Jigawa up, the north, that should be the northeast, right? Yeah, maybe northeast, yeah. Are you available? If you are not, I will be closing the queue. And just to share my own sincere appreciation to our vice president for Yes, thank you for sharing our social media page. What about our Telegram? Okay, great. So if you're on Telegram, please make sure you join all our social media platform. This is very important. But more importantly, I'd like to appreciate my own team members. You guys are great. You are the best guys I could ever have wished I am working with. Thank you all for pulling this off. You guys, I don't know, thank you enough to our Vice President for coordinating this section of SID. Thank you very, very much. So I yield the floor to Engineer Kunle Olorodare for the general vote of thanks.
Mr. President, our protocol. Sorry, is somebody saying something there? Okay, our protocols duly observed. On behalf of the Executive Council of Internet Society Nigerian chapter. Oh, Priscilla, do you want to come on the floor now? Are you ready?
Is there still time? If there's time, if not.
Yeah, I will crave the indulgence of the president so that we can have you on the floor for the next 1 minute.
Please go ahead.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm just going to share just one image of the school that we did the reports, that we did the webinar on. So this is the Statler School, is in Plateau State, is in Jos. And we had about 40 participants as the students, and then we had like 5 teachers also attending. So it was a fun event. We thought that the children didn't know about ISOC Nigeria in the first place, so we had to introduce ourselves and what we were and what we were coming to talk to them about. So we told them about SID, and they had little or no knowledge to Safer Internet Day, and then we educated them on what it is and how to use the internet safely. We also, the teachers also learned 1 or 2 things from what we did. I worked with 2 volunteer ISOC members in Plateau State here. So it was a good event all in all. I'll only be able to share this one picture just for time's sake, and I'm sorry if I was out of maybe when I was called I was not available. So that'll be all from me here. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much. We will include all pictures in the newsletter. Over to you, the VP.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. President. On behalf of the Executive Council of Internet Society Nigerian chapter, I want to thank everyone that graced this occasion, our panelists, who has made the members, who has webinar, observers, and every other person who has deemed it fit to be on this platform this afternoon. We say thank you very much. And please, we want you to continue to engage with Internet Society. We want to encourage you to join us of information about how you can join us on the Telegram and how you can become a member, the global member, and of course, the Nigerian member, so to say. So without mincing word, I say a big thank you to everyone who has graced this and who has made it a wonderful one. Thank you. God bless you. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. So I think, Akimo, this is where you usually come in for the picture. For the picture. Akimo, yes. Can everybody activate their video? I know we do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Take over.
Okay, so like the president directed, let's all take switch on our videos to take a picture. All videos on. Okay, so I don't want to be the only one taking pictures. Feel free to take pictures, take as many as possible. Oh, can we smile a little bit, please?
Yeah, everybody had a
Yes.
smile.
Okay.
Can we all see your
Chidima
32
smiling? Okay.
Can you see my
Mrs. Jonah, thank you. I love that. Okay. Okay, so we have 3 slides, and I'm going to the second slide to take pictures. I can see Olajide. No, Olajide. Okay, Aminu Isa, thank you so much.
Our vice president just refused to put on his own video.
Oh my God, I don't know what's
Are you
going
doing
on.
social distancing?
Are you doing social distancing?
Honestly, I put it on and I don't even know what is happening.
Dr.
Let me
Wariwe,
check my settings again.
you are so cybersecurity conscious, you refuse to put on your video.
Oga Miracle, we see you.
So let's know what page.
I think there is an issue with my system.
Joining us.
Very sorry about that.
I'm very, very sorry. My network.
I just observed that my video is not coming up. Even after
I think something's covering your camera, sir.
Engine album.
Yeah. Something is covering your camera.
Yeah.
Priscilla, your video.
My network.
President. Mr. President, the smile is
Mr. Gabriel, well done. Mr. President, over to you.
Gabriel,
No, the meeting is actually closed. The meeting is closed. So we catch everyone online, and until our next webinar, which we are going to have very soon. Until our next webinar, I'd like to encourage. Yeah, so until our next webinar, thank you all for taking your time to participate. We'll see you. Yes, we'll see you soon, and please engage on all our social media platforms, and see you online. That's all I can say. Have a great day and a blessed week.
Thank you, Mr. President, and well done. For this one.